Oh man. Oh boy. This one's gonna be a doozy. This one's gonna be a bit of a doozy. I feel like I gotta make sure that I'm prepared for this. I got my coffee. I got my water bottle. I'm sealed in my hermetic chamber from which nothing is allowed to enter nor leave. I think I can do this. I think I'm ready. I've been meaning to do this for a long time, both in the sense that it's been a while since I've recorded anything for this channel, and also in the sense that this is one of the videos, this is one of the audio logs that I have been having in mind for a while. It's one of the ones that motivated the creation of this channel, actually. We're running out of those. I'm very slowly making my way through that material. I'm very slowly getting through all of those. I have some written down. I think this might be the last one. I think this might be the last one in the first batch of ideas that I had that made me think this channel was not a good idea, but an idea. It was one of the things that made me have an idea. But yeah, this one, I guess I have to give a warning up front. This one might get a little intense. I don't know, a little uncomfortable, a little intimate, a little challenging. I'm not sure. It might not. Maybe it won't. But it definitely has the capability to go to some uncomfortable places, both for me and you. So, if you're not down for that, just a warning up front. You can tap out at any point. You're not here under duress. I'm not holding you against your will. The only person being held here against their will is me. But no, I have not deployed agents to your house who will assassinate you, who will break your legs if you decide that this one's not for you. But yeah. So, as you can see from the title of this video, which is not clickbait, it is true. I mean, I guess it is kind of clickbait. It is worded in a clickbaity way, I suppose. At least that's the idea. I don't know. I don't know what counts as clickbait, really. It's both clickbait and true at the same time, which is really the worst form of clickbait. Because, if clickbait was always false, if clickbait was always like an exaggeration or always false advertising, then you could recognize it and you'd be like, oh, I'm just being baited. I don't need to click on this. I know that it's not really going to be worth my time. But sometimes, a statement can be both clickbait and true. And that's what fucks everything up. Because then you'll see the clickbait and you'll be like, that's clickbait. But what if it's also true? What if it's also true? That's what throws everything into confusion. That's how they get you. They being me. They being me, I guess. In this case. But yeah, I guess that's kind of what it all comes down to. I don't know if I'm trans or not. I really don't. I know what a lot of you are probably thinking already. I know a lot of you are probably thinking things with your brains right now. You're having thoughts. You're saying things to yourself. You're already convincing yourself that I'm trans just because I said that. Which, don't do that. Don't jump the gun on that one. Okay? I don't want you to do that. I'm being serious when I say that. I'm not kidding. This is a very serious topic. Alright? It's a very serious issue that I'm contending with, so I would like for you to give me the benefit of the doubt before you draw your own conclusions. Okay? I suppose that this will also serve as a kind of like VTuber origin story. I don't really know how else to describe it. I suppose there's a little bit of background that's necessary to sort of reveal how we got to this situation, to sort of reveal how I would even be in such a state as to be asking that question. There was a time, many moons ago, in the distant mist-shrouded past, spoken only of on the ancient tablets, when I was not a VTuber at all. I always wanted to stream and things like that, or I guess not stream, because the desire started before streaming was like really a thing. I mean, I'm sure it was, but like I didn't know about it. It is definitely much more niche than it is now. It's definitely much more of a niche thing that people were into. You know, I would always watch like Let's Plays and video game reviews and things like that, and I just thought to myself, you know what, I would have a lot of fun doing this. I think I could be good at it. I kind of want to do something like that. I tried it out with my friends. I tried it out solo, and it never really quite took off, because you know, you think like, oh, all you got to do is just like play video games and you talk. That's all you got to do. But no, I had to get like a capture card and things like that. It wasn't easy to like even get started doing this. Like, again, I'm sure that you maybe could have just gotten like OBS or like a screen capture thing, but you know, if you wanted to play console games or anything like that, which is mostly what I didn't really play stuff on the computer, so I wanted to do console shit because that's what I had. You know, I had to get like a capture card and figure all that out. You had to like actually get people together and like record and edit a little bit, and you had to be entertaining, which is like it's not really that easy. It's really more difficult than you might think. So none of those efforts ever really took off, but I was never discouraged. I didn't think that it didn't make me not want to do it, I suppose. It remained something that I wanted to strive for, and something that I still felt that I could do, that I was capable of if I just put in more effort. But you know, it never really materialized into anything. And then I decided to get back into it on my own through streaming. And coincidentally, during this time, I can't remember exactly when it was. I don't remember the year. It was around when VTubers started becoming more popular, and I started seeing them. I started seeing the JP side of things. I started seeing, it was probably Corone. That was probably the first VTuber I ever saw. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm gay. I like anime and other gay shit like that. I could do something like this. That would be fun. Because I never wanted to be on camera, and I always knew that that was going to be like a barrier, or that was going to be like something that was against me, because people like to see a face. They like to have that association with you as a person, as an entity. And I always knew that that was going to be something that was going to be working against me, as I never really wanted to show my face. But the VTuber thing, I was like, oh, I could just be like a kooky little character, you know? I could just be like a thing. That's not me. It's perfect. And, you know, I'm an artist, so I was like, oh, okay, I like designing characters. It was a perfect little intersection of my interests and my abilities. So I set about making my own VTuber model, and I was kind of just doing it not super seriously. Like, I wasn't like, you know, when you see VTubers now, like, they have all their lore, and they have, like, the big debuts, and they put all this fucking effort and production into it, and it's like, you know, it's like a thing. It wasn't really like that for me. It was much more casual, and, like, I kind of didn't really take it all that seriously. I guess towards the end of working on it, I was kind of taking it more seriously, because I did make a live 2D avatar, and I was like, holy fuck, this is so annoying. I really did not enjoy the process at the time. And also, I guess I was very depressed, as I often am. That was one of the bad times. That was one of the real bad periods, where it got really intense. So that didn't help. I decided that I was going to be a vampire because I was working overnight, and so I was literally nocturnal. I started my shift like at midnight, and then later at like 11 p.m. So I would work all through the night, and I would come home, and I would actually go to sleep like right after I got home. My schedule was a little weird in that like I would have like my free time, like my off work time, like before I went to work as opposed to after. Like I would wake up in like the evening, sometimes like as the sun was setting. Like for a long time I really was going to bed like right after the sun rose, and then waking up like as the sun was setting. Like in the winter when the days are shorter, like there would be days for like I would see the only time I would see the sun was when I was driving back home from my shift. So that was kind of the idea. And it was never like I didn't really know anything about like being trans, I guess, back then. Like it wasn't really like I wasn't in that realm. Like I don't know. Like I'm sure I probably knew it was a thing, but it was like a very nebulous concept. Like it wasn't really something I thought about. The idea to make the VTuber avatar, to make Alchemilia more female presenting, I'll say, was just because that's what I like to draw. I like to draw cute girls and stuff. I mean, I like to draw lots of different things, but that's like, that's my bread and butter. That was what I really enjoyed. So I was like, I don't know if I could. My thinking was like, I don't know if I could like draw like a cool guy who's like me. Like I didn't think of myself as like a cool guy, Like I didn't want to go too wacky with it, and I was like, I can't. If I was to design like a cool character, I'm not cool. I couldn't do that. I couldn't. There would be too much of a mismatch. And I also thought that there would be like a mismatch between me being a cute vampire girl and me, but that would be more funny. That would be more of a funny mismatch in my brain than the other way around. So that was kind of the idea. Again, it wasn't like I don't know, like a gendered questioning dysmorphia thing that I made that like when I was on stream I was like, yeah, I don't really care like what you call me. You can call me a guy, you can call me a girl, like it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just a cartoon character on your screen. Like it doesn't really affect me. That was true. I was not lying about that. I was true. I was being true about that. I really did feel that way. My main motivating factor was just a dislike of the flesh in general. It wasn't like a dislike of being a man. It was a dislike of being a dislike of being a physical entity who's forced to like occupy space and like breathe and like, expend energy and that kind of stuff. That was more the thing that I didn't like than just like having a penis. So that wasn't really what I was thinking about with that. That's still true to a large degree, I think. In large part, I believe that that's still the major motivating factor behind all of this, is just the desire to be something other than what I am. To just be an idea in people's heads as opposed to like a real physical creature that skulks around and has to like participate in society and like do things. You probably don't know, actually. I say a lot. You probably maybe don't know what I mean when I say that, but hopefully you can get an idea. Hopefully I'm articulate enough that you can get some semblance of a notion of what I mean when I say that. So yeah, I started streaming using that avatar, and then I got really depressed again, and I stopped streaming for a while. And then I started streaming again, but I didn't use the Alchemilia avatar anymore because I was like, I don't think I can like do this, man. Like I still had it in my brain that I had to be like, that Alchemilia was something more, like I had to be like like I really did have to like play a character and be like, well, look at me, I'm the streamer, I'm having fun. And then I was like, I can't do that. I can't have fun. So I guess if I'm gonna stream, I just have to be more myself and like be fucking morbidly, languidly depressed all the time. So I came back, no longer using the Alchemilia name, still using an avatar that was more generic, or like not generic, but like less. It didn't have any story behind it. It was just like a representation, because I still like the idea of having an avatar. That went on for a while, and then I kind of was not very consistent about streaming, and then I hit a point where I wasn't streaming for a while, and I said to myself, okay, well, you do this and you stop, and then you do it and you stop, and it keeps going in a cycle like this. And despite all of that, you still don't, like, you don't ever, like, give up. You're never like, okay, I'm done forever now. You keep coming back to it and you keep trying it, and you refuse to just call it quits for some reason. For some reason, it was something that I really wanted to do. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna come back and I'm just gonna commit to doing it, and I'm not going to let anything stop me. I'm not gonna get it in my head that I'm not a good enough streamer. I'm not gonna get it in my head that things aren't going the way I want. I'm not as successful as I want to be, yada, yada, yada. Whatever excuse I can come up with, it's like, it doesn't matter. Because you're going to keep doing it anyway. You want to do it and you're going to keep coming back to it. So you might as well just commit to doing it consistently and stop being such a little fucking bitch all the time. So I was like, okay. And I decided that the call of Alchemilia was too great. I was deep down inside of me, I knew that was the avatar I needed to use. I tried to think of other stuff. I tried to think of a different character, a different persona, but I was like, nothing fits. Nothing fits more than the bat-shaped skin suit that I have crafted for myself. So I came back, and slowly, over time, I was more myself on stream. I became more of myself, and I was more open with people, and I was more open with myself too. And the avatar, the character became like, there is a give and take there. There was a melding, you know. I became more of the character, and the character became more of me over time. And at a certain point, I was like, you know, I kind of like it when people call me a girl. I kind of enjoy that when I'm on stream. I feel like at a certain point in my brain, I had decided that the character was female. I was like, I think I'm just gonna say that to people. Like, I think I'm just gonna say that when I'm on stream, I want to be called by, you know, she and that kind of thing. And I had a very, like, intense stream where I made that known to people. I think that was the stream where I went on to go play iPad Baby after that. I think I gave my big gay speech, and then I started playing iPad Baby, which was probably the best thing that I could have done that night. I think that was probably the best decision I could have made. So if you want to watch that stream, it's on my archive channel. I have a VOD archive on YouTube, and that is on there. I'm pretty sure it's the stream where I played iPad Baby. It starts with that whole thing. If it's not, I'm gonna look like a big dummy, but I look like that anyway all the time, so, you know, what does it matter? But yes, that was really sort of like the adoption of the idea, and it's only become more and more. I've only questioned more and more things about that. I've started expressing myself more and more in more and more feminine ways, I suppose. It did sort of put a lot of things from my past into new light, I suppose, into new perspective, you know? Because I was always very hard on myself in terms of my looks and things like that, in terms of how I felt about my body and that kind of stuff. And I still am like that. It's not like that stopped. That didn't, like, go away. But it sort of, when I look back on it, it's like, oh, maybe I was always kind of, like, feeling this way, and I just didn't put two and two together. Or rather, I didn't have the other. I had a two, but I didn't have the other two. You know, my knowledge of numbers was limited, and I did not realize that there was a part of this equation that I was missing. So yeah, a lot of that kind of thing, a lot of my interests, a lot of the ways that I express myself. I'm still very incredulous about a lot of things when people say stuff to me. I don't know, like, people do call me cute and stuff like that, and they do say that I'm girly and things in, like, various ways, and I still don't really believe it when they say that to me. They do say that to me, shockingly enough. I know that you surely would never think that about me in any way, shape, or form, because you're a real smart cookie. Because you're a real smart cookie. So, you can see through my lies and my deception, my veneer of amicability. People do say that kind of thing about me, and it's like, I'm not trying to be that way, I guess. I just am that way. And when people started saying stuff like that about me, I was like, oh, it kind of makes me feel good. I kind of enjoy that, I feel like I guess it was sort of like, I don't know, I never felt very traditionally masculine, I suppose, but in more of a I am a pathetic loser kind of way, I've always been kind of weak and mopey and withdrawn. Not to say that those are like feminine qualities, but they're certainly not what you would think of when you think of like, like a fucking dude, man. I never really like thought of myself as that. So that was also part of the motivation with the VTuber thing, where I was like, I don't know if I could pull off that. It's like, I could probably do an okay job of being cute though, if I really tried. And it turns out that I don't even really have to try. People just think that about me naturally. I have those sort of softer, more approachable aspects than I maybe realized. I don't know, I'm getting nervous now. I can feel it. Now we're hitting the point where I'm getting like, I can feel it in my heart. I can feel the fluttering, and I can hear the little voice in the back of my head calling me stupid, and that I should stop. But we're too far and gone now. It's too late now. So there's things like that, and it also was like, I have had a group of friends for a very long time that I have been friends with, a lot of them since like elementary school. They're all guys. I was only ever friends with guys. So my friend group that I've known for like my whole life is male. And after I started streaming, I started making more friends. Like, I hadn't really made a friend in like, I don't know, like a decade or something. Probably not that long. I made a couple friends in college, but not a lot. But yeah, it had been like a really, really long time since I had met new people and like made friends. And I was very, very, very steadily convincing myself that I was just like an unlikable person and I wouldn't make friends. And the streaming consistently thing coincided with the being a girl thing, and I started meeting more people that way who liked me and wanted to be friends with me, and I was making friends and I was talking to people consistently who only saw me as Alchemilia. So it was a bit like, I don't really know if it's just that I was expressing myself more honestly, but the transition to being female presenting was coinciding with a lot of people discovering that they liked me, and me discovering that I was a likable person. So, it's a little bit, that's one of the things where it's like, I don't really know how to take it. Is it like, am I more likable as a girl? Is it just that I was able to be more honest with myself and be more open, and just, I was always like this and it doesn't really matter, and it's just like, that's who I am and I just wasn't expressing it? But at the same time, is it like, well, was I only able to express that when I started to accept these feelings about being female? And it's like, it's a very knotty kind of like twisty back and forth wishy-washy notion in my brain, where it's like, I don't really know how to untangle that one. And sometimes I wonder if it's even really necessary to do so, or if I should just fucking relax and accept it. Actually, no, I take it back. I do know that I should probably do that about a lot of things, but that one's not really going away. So yeah, that's kind of, and to go back to the friend group thing, it's like, I know that they wouldn't be super down with me being trans either. I don't think they'd really be into that. Not to say too much about them or their characters, but they're certainly, the majority of them are certainly like, not very accepting of that kind of thing, I guess. I don't really know how to say it without making it sound worse than it is. Because I do still like them. I am still friends with them. I do still talk to them. I feel like we maybe have been growing a bit distant more and more as time goes on, which, just kind of happens a lot of the time as people move and live in different places. But it's like, I don't know. I have not made that that step of like actually coming out to people in my flesh life, in my offline life, and I don't really know how they would take it. I'm sure that it would be very difficult. They're definitely, nobody I know is anybody that would be like, oh, that's cool and awesome, great. It would definitely be a big struggle, and I'm sure it would be very difficult. And I maybe would even lose people, which is like, I don't know. I don't know if I really want that. I don't know if these sorts of feelings are worth it, I guess. Like my wanting to be more female in my regular flesh life is like it's not tearing me up inside that I can't do that around my loved ones, It doesn't really like bother me that much, I suppose. Like I'm really not sure if I would actually like transition, like take hormones and start dressing differently or any of that sort of thing, Because while I don't know, I think maybe I would like that, but I also know that it would come with a lot of other issues, and I'm also lazy. I just don't want to like do stuff. I'd have to like do a lot of things if I did that, and it would be very stressful. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do that. I might be too lazy to transition. That might really just be what it comes down to. I might just be too fucking lazy. I have no idea. I think I might just continue to pretend to be an anime girl on the internet, and that's probably fine. I might be okay with that. I don't know. That's what the question is in the title, is I really don't know if I'm trans or not. I really haven't decided yet. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people who, I don't know, the definition is a bit nebulous, I guess. There's no strict criteria. The way that I'm kind of phrasing this is like, if I don't do it in my normal, everyday, day-to-day life, then it doesn't count. That's like what it means to be trans. And I know that that's not true. I'm not trying to say like, you can do whatever you want and be satisfied with that. I'm not trying to say like anything that I talk about is applicable to anybody but me. I'm just trying to sort of share my experience and my thought processes. So hopefully people can get something out of that. Hopefully I can get something out of it too. But I'm not trying to like say anything like definitive or like objective or anything like that. Which I suppose is all to say that I don't know when like I don't know what the line is where I will be able to confidently say that about myself. Where I will be able to confidently say like, yes, I am a trans woman. Hear me roar. Look at me. Look at me, world. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that, or if I even want to do that. I'm not exactly like a pillar of any kind of community. I guess that's also something I think about, is like, I would like to be like, getting out there and being all like, hey guys, check it out. Look at how cool and confident I am. I'm such a pillar of, the LGBTQ plus movement, and I'm so confident and cool, and you can do it. Go get 'em, girl. You can fucking get out there and rock it just like me. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do anything like that ever. I just don't think I have it in me. And I feel like I don't know. Me being openly part of any sort of community is probably a detriment to that community. I'm very anti-community in general. I don't really want to be a part of them. And again, I just don't see myself as that type of person. I would like to see myself as not a person, as just like an energy wisp, as just like a spirit haunting the back of your brain, clinging to your soul. I feel like there probably is a certain amount of confidence that you need in order to do that kind of thing, and I just don't know if I have that. I just don't know if that's really what I want. I suppose I should also, this is also part of it. I haven't really talked about this at all, but I mean, I guess there is kind of like a sexual element to everything that kind of is a little, another weird, knotted up thing. I guess now we're getting deep. We're getting towards the end of the video. Now we can get into the saucy stuff. This is your reward, I guess, for making it this far. That is also another thing, is that like I never have had a romantic partner or anything until recently, and you know, nobody was ever attracted to me when I was a guy. Nobody ever wanted to go on a date with me. Nobody ever was like, oh hey, wanna like whatever. Nobody ever expressed any kind of interest in that way. That kind of also put a damper on my self-confidence and my self-image for a very long time. And then once again, when I started being more female presenting, it turns out that, you know, apparently there are people out there who think I'm attractive, and there are people out there who are interested in me in that way. But it only started happening after the whole soft transition thing. It's a very soft transition. It's not a hard transition. It's a soft one. It's a light one, you know? It's a transition with creamer and sugar. That is also part of it, where it's like, I don't know, like, is it just like a fetish thing? Is it just like a sex thing? I don't think so. But sometimes I question, you know? Sometimes I wonder, do I just do it to get off? Because, you know, I do get off on it. It is true. That does happen sometimes. I regret to inform you. It does make me feel good in many different ways when people recognize me as a girl and treat me as such. I don't know. That one's kind of like another one where it's like, well, you know, people who are comfortable with themselves and their bodies have those sorts of feelings, and it's like, when you're expressing yourself as the gender that you want to be, of course you would have that kind of reaction. That's a normal reaction to like being a functioning human being, you know? Like, there's nothing weird about that, but for some reason I can't stop fucking criticizing myself over everything. So it's just like, am I just a fucking weird fetishist? I mean, I am definitely that. I am definitely a fucking sick weirdo, but you know, is it more than that? It definitely is that on some level. There's no denying that. And I know that this is all stuff that I'm sure there are so many people watching this video that are fucking screaming at their monitors right now, or their phones or whatever. They're fucking shaking the screen, being like, you fucking stupid bitch. Of course you're trans. You fucking dumbass. You fucking dumb bitch. Because that's what people say, right? When they see somebody struggling with their gender identity, they scream and they call them obscenities, and they kick them and they throw them on the ground in like a loving way, right? That's what happens. That's their normal reaction. What I was trying to get at was, I'm sure that this is all stuff that everybody everywhere has dealt with, you know? I don't think I'm not breaking new ground with this stupid audio log that I'm recording. I'm not blazing a trail into a bold new future by saying all of this dumb shit into a microphone. I'm aware of that. I know that this is probably all stuff that a lot of people have already dealt with, but it is sort of something that I wanted to talk about and think about, because I don't really know what the solution is. I don't really know what it is that I want to do. But I did want to record this because I think it's an interesting thing to think about, and it's very important context for who I am as a person. And I do bring it up every once in a while on the stream and things like that. And I'm hoping that maybe it can help other people to think about this kind of stuff and see what I'm going through. Because maybe they're going through it too. Maybe they'll see me and they'll be like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like that. Maybe it will help elucidate some kind of answer within them. But that's probably just cope. That's probably just me coping about recording my own slow spiral into insanity and feeling like there's some kind of greater purpose behind it other than just my own sick sense of self-satisfaction. Some way to occupy my time before I wither into dust and blow away into the breeze. I'm okay though. I'm fine with this. Really. I know I probably didn't say that in a very convincing tone of voice, but it is true. It is something I think about and I question a lot, but it's not such a huge deal to me, honestly. I'm okay with taking my time and figuring things out. And I hope that you are too. I hope you're figuring things out better than I am. I hope you're making more progress on your personal journey through life than it feels like I am sometimes. I don't know why this was one of the topics I wanted to talk about on these vlogs. This is bad. This was a dumb idea. I don't feel like that was a good episode. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, as per usual when I record these, I feel kind of nice. I feel kind of good. I like getting my thoughts out there, but I don't know. This one feels even more self-indulgent than is normally advised. I feel like I get a bit too personal sometimes. I get a bit too self-indulgent. This one feels like I've gone way off the deep end here, into territory that nobody should be exposed to. But I don't know. If somehow you made it all the way through that and you enjoyed it and you're like, I want to hear more of this dumb bitch talking. I really liked how fucking stupid and annoying she was. I want to hear more of that. If you've repaired your phone or your monitor after punching through it several times because of how frustrated I made you, and you're like, you know what? I think I could go for some more of that. That really made me feel something. It really got the blood pumping. I am going to try to record more of these more consistently again, or maybe not. I don't know. This one probably is going to be the last one, now that I think about it. But yeah, I have this channel. I stream on Twitch. I make artwork. I exist somewhere in the real world. You can maybe find me, put me out of my misery. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. The air conditioning kicked on and it got a lot colder in here. My teeth are chattering a little bit. But yeah, I think all the links to all of that stuff are in like the channel somewhere. I don't know. You can find them somewhere, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I have a Ko-Fi if you want to tip me or something. If you somehow enjoyed this enough or you just feel sorry for me, you can give me money. I do artwork. I take commissions as well. So I guess you could, I don't know, do that too. I'm feeling very deflated now after all of that and after all the shilling. I don't know. I should probably save the shilling until the end. I definitely don't want to do it at the beginning, but that was really half-hearted. I wasn't a very good sell on any of that, was I? I don't know. I'm being awfully self-deprecating on this one. Oh, this is bad. Okay, we're gonna get out of here before it gets even worse. So yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. I hope you were able to get something out of this. I hope you were able to enjoy. I hope you maybe had a thought, potentially, about something I said. And yeah, for better or worse, I will continue to plug away at this. I will continue to do my thing. And I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.